Do you guys know where I am? Can you guess? Can you guess?
Oh. Hello.
What happened to your office, man?
Well, I emptied it. I thought I told you this.
This is classic Peter right here.
No,
you like just
stop.
finished it.
I knew that sometimes when you're renovating a place and you're making changes, you got to live in it and you got to work in it to really know what works and what doesn't. And this room would be better.
You make it, you blow it up. You make it, you blow it up.
Hey, this room would be better served for video games.
I like hanging out here. Can I come over more often?
Come over. It's on the way to your office. Literally, just stop here every day. I'll make you coffee because you drink it now, and then carry on.
Every day?
Every day.
For 10 years now, I have been an Adobe Premiere Pro user. Then a few months ago, I decided to try Final Cut Pro 10. Adobe responded with this. Well played, Adobe, well played. I very much respect this kind of reaction. So let's talk about Premiere Pro versus Final Cut Pro 10, what I like, what I dislike, which is better, and which one I am choosing to use in the future. But no matter what program you end up using, you're gonna need music. A massive thanks to the amazing people at Epidemic Sound for sponsoring this video. And you know what that means, it's time to give back to you guys. That's code for a giveaway. Epidemic Sound is one of the best ways to get music for your videos because of their crazy big library of music, all sorts of genres, all types of music, and they're constantly adding more, plus they have sound effects, but more importantly, at an affordable price. If you're a YouTuber or an online content creator, it's $15 a month for unlimited use of the music, monetize it however you want. If you're a freelancer and you need it for your clients' online videos, it's $49 a month. I don't know if you understand how affordable this is. When I used to freelance back in the day, do wedding videos and little corporate videos, brand videos, I would pay minimum $50 to $100 per song per video. Sometimes it would even cost me like $500 for one song, one video. I so badly wish I would have had this back in the day because I would have saved myself so much money. And better yet, there's a free trial. You can try it out for free. Whether you're a YouTuber or a freelancer, you can try it for free. Nothing is stopping you from trying it out right now. And I don't know if you heard, but Epidemic Sound did a whole rebrand and redo of their website. New logo, nice and sleek, but more importantly, they're making it easier to find the music that you need for your videos. Because if you've ever had to look for music, it can take a long time to find the right song. Anyways, Epidemic Sound is one of my all-time favorite, if not my favorite company to work with. Great product and amazing people behind it. So whether you're a YouTuber, freelancer, or a brand, Epidemic Sound has your music needs covered. Go and sign up for that free trial right now. And as promised, every time I do a sponsored video, I want to give back to you guys, and I know how expensive filmmaking can be, so I want to help you guys out. I want to give 3 people $500 gift cards to Amazon to help you in your journey as a creative. Official rules are down below, but all you got to do is subscribe to the channel and comment down below with what you're going to do with that $500 and your Instagram handle so we can contact you. I'll pick the winners in a week from now, and I really hope this does help some creatives in their journey and just gives them a little kick to go forwards. Thank you so much, Epidemic Sound, for sponsoring this video, and go and sign up for that free trial so we can do more of these. Okay, back to Final Cut versus Premiere. I have more energy today. I think it's because I made myself a nice coffee. First off, the timeline. That's gonna probably be the biggest difference between Premiere and Final Cut Pro 10. And after using both Final Cut's magnetic timeline, where all of the footage kind of sticks together and clumps up, and then using Premiere's non-linear system where clips just, stay where they are and they're all separated if you want them to be. And I personally prefer Premiere's non-linear system. I just feel like the benefits of the magnetic timeline don't outweigh all the hindrances, all the things that you kind of have to do to work around the magnetic timeline, the complications that arise. For example, what clips connect to which ones and having to change the connection, all these little things that I don't really like that much. I prefer the free flow way with Premiere. You can just do what you want. There's so much more freedom to come up with different ways of editing, but I can completely understand why people like the magnetic timeline, and maybe for beginners, the magnetic timeline might be a little bit easier. But in terms of timeline, I prefer Premiere. Then let's talk about speeds, and I would say this is not Premiere's strong suit. Premiere just overall feels slower, especially with export times. Export times are so much faster in Final Cut Pro 10. I have heard that they've done some updates and that it might help with some of the export times, but I haven't really been able to test that myself yet. But even the editing just feels a little bit faster and smoother in Final Cut versus Premiere Pro. So in terms of speeds right now, I think I gotta give it to Final Cut. In terms of features, I honestly thought that Premiere was gonna have a huge leg up, but the more I used Final Cut, the more I realized that they kind of have all of the same features, just done a little bit differently in some cases. Even just little things, for example, speed ramping, both programs can do it, but I find Final Cut just does it a little bit better, a little bit faster, a little bit smoother. Both programs can do color grading just fine, but I find that Premiere just does it a little bit easier, a little bit faster in terms of workflow and how you can access the different effects. So in terms of features, there's things that I like more in both, but overall, they kind of seem to have all of the same features. And then let's talk about plugins and effects. I think overall, again, both programs have really great plugins and effects. I found Final Cut a little bit confusing in how they separate some of the effects. I like how in Premiere, all of the effects are just in one thing, all of them. But one thing, and this might sound small, in Premiere, I haven't really found a good plugin to do good motion blur. Whereas in Final Cut, there's like so many different ways that you can add motion blur to your footage. And there's a bunch of uses for motion blur, but the main one for me would be speed ramps and just making them look way more smooth and way more natural than if you didn't have that motion blur. And I was trying to find the best plugin or way of doing it, and I came across this guy, Emilio, incredibly talented YouTuber. If you want to know more about Final Cut Pro, I highly recommend checking out his channel. I've already learned a ton from him, and he has these effects for motion blur, and it ended up being the easiest, fastest, and really high quality way of getting nice motion blur. So I ended up contacting him and we ended up collabing, and he helped me to make and modify those motion blur presets for you guys. It's an incredible tool, especially for those speed ramps, just makes them look so much better. I really wish Premiere had a good way of doing motion blur. Even like a native effect would be great. Definitely check out Emilio's channel. Thanks, Emilio, for making these presets. I'll link them down below for you guys. And sorry, they are only for Final Cut Pro 10. Oh, also, if you're a Final Cut user and you missed it, I made my audio presets that I use for all of my videos super easy to use. With one drag and drop, they make your audio sound really great. So fast, so easy to use. I use them on all of my videos, so I'll link those down below too. And then let's talk about workflow. And for me, I like the Premiere workflow so much better. I don't like how Final Cut organizes the footage when you bring it in. I like how Premiere does it, bins and all that, super easy, super fast. If I just drag in my folder with EOS R footage, it's gonna make a bin with EOS R footage and add that footage in there. And I want project files. I don't like how Final Cut has all these events and different, it's confusing. I like having everything in one folder, including the project file. Everything in one place, and I don't like how in Final Cut you end up having all these different events and projects when you open up Final Cut, and then all of a sudden it's just taking up so much space and rendering these optimized files and all that, which can be great, but in terms of workflow, I don't really like it. And you have to use compressor if you want to do any sort of customizing of your export settings. I kind of just like that I can export straight in Premiere, do everything in Premiere. The workflow feels easier and more simple in Premiere for me than in Final Cut. And then let's talk about price. That's definitely important when you're choosing what program you want to go with. Final Cut Pro 10 is $299, whereas with Premiere, you have to do a monthly subscription. And for just a 1-year period up front, it costs $240 already. So it can add up really fast being a Premiere user, and I actually have the whole suite and it's like $60 a month or something like that. It ends up being very expensive to use Premiere. Multiply those monthly fees over the years and Final Cut Pro 10 is definitely the cheaper option here. Let's talk quickly about what could be better. I feel like both programs do a few things not so well. One of them is color grading. I think color grading could be a lot better natively in both of the programs. I'm not a fan of either, and I think they're super limited. And the other one is making text. I feel like neither of them work the way that I want to. It's always a bit of a pain and you have to click through so many different things to get all the settings. And I wish that you could just make presets for different fonts and sizes and all of that stuff. Yeah, I think both of them could definitely use an improvement in terms of adding in graphics or text. Premiere needs the auto-saving features of Final Cut. You never have to save in Final Cut, so you're never gonna lose your project either, at least in theory. Premiere export times could also be a little bit faster. And then Final Cut, I just don't like how the project files and events, I feel like that needs to be changed. And after weeks of testing, the final verdict, which program am I ending up with? Which program am I gonna use in the future? The winner for me is Premiere Pro. Even though it's got a bunch of things that I don't like and things that don't work as well as in Final Cut, it still works better for me, for my workflow. I'm faster, and I honestly, using Final Cut, I felt like I'm flying like 25% blind. So often I'd be like, oh, how do you do this in Final Cut? And then I'd be like, that's how you have to do it? It'd be some like weird convoluted way, or you couldn't really even do it at all. In the end, for me, Premiere just allows for so much more freedom in editing styles and how I wanna use my editing program. I will say though, if you're just starting out in filmmaking, you're a complete beginner, Final Cut Pro 10 might be a little bit easier to get into. Don't get me wrong, both feel very complicated at first, but I think the magnetic timeline might feel a little bit easier for beginners. But yeah, in the end, I like having more control and my workflow was just way faster inside of Premiere. I don't know if it's just old habits or it really is because Premiere is a better editing program. I think it's just a case of personal preference, to be honest. So Premiere, you can make another meme because I'm sticking with you guys. I want more, don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna stick with you for now. Although I do feel like I need to try DaVinci, give it like a good try because I'm curious where does it fit into this equation because it's free. Free is pretty hard to beat. All right guys, I'll see you.